Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Let's go to that locker room to hear what they should be hearing after this game.
Second week, it's time for us to raise the bar now. Are we clear on that? We got to raise the bar. I want to practice with better etiquette, okay? Stay off the ground, stay away from the quarterback. I want the backs and receivers to finish runs, okay? I want better etiquette. But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution. I want you to get a little bit pissed off. All right, not a lot of people expect very much from us. Do they? Do they? You've been reading about us? Not a lot of people expect enough from us. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of reading about it. It's time for you to stick your foot up somebody's ass, man.
I'm tired, man.
I'm definitely tired. American Red Devils up early. How we doing? Good to see all you fine folks bright and early. You know, how else would we like it? Better execution. You know, United could have played better. They lose 2-1 to the Seagulls on the South Coast. Pretty split game. I think Brighton had the edge. They out XG'd us. United had some chances. You know, not great in the first half. I thought it was better to start the second half, and then United really fell off after the inexplicable Bruno Fernandes sub in the 78th minute from exhaust. That made no sense, and United created nothing for the following 17 minutes afterwards. So, heartbreak. Garnacho had a goal that Xerxes ended up ruling offside. I don't think he had any ill will, but it's a heartbreaker for Garnacho, who needed a goal, and, you know, we needed a goal. And it's a tough one. It's a one to lick your wounds, but as Gruden said, we needed better execution. We didn't have it, and now you got to just brush yourself off, and guess what? We have fucking Liverpool. Get over it. We got a big game coming up next weekend.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Look, I don't want to be in big trouble here, sir. We're not,
stay out of big trouble.
We're not talking about practice. We're talking about the real thing, and you go away to Brighton. I mean, like, hey, beat Fulham at home. I think it's a bad Fulham side. You know, we did out XG them. We played better defensively, but this was on the menu. We said it. It's gonna be a rainy day on the South Coast. Brighton are there. They're young. They're gonna be right in our face, pressing up high. They're gonna be brave. It's gonna be a fight for a knife in the mud, and that's what it was, sir. It could have gone our way, could have gone their way, but I feel like the edge has to go to Brighton. They did out XG us. They were on the front foot, and this is not like a lowly Brighton team. I mean, like, they're middle of the pack, and we're struggling already. And so it is early in the season, but it was a tall order to go away and get 3 points. I said it. I said we could lose 2-0. I said it ended up being 2-1. Harshly done by that Xerxes clearance off the line, you know? So it's not all negative, but I feel like the Bruno sub, what are you doing? And why are we doing this false nine thing? It didn't really come off against City. And then Fulham, there were question marks. Then we do it again. And I feel we got to be making changes. We need to be trying things, because if you're going to go into an away ground in the EPL, you're going to get punished, especially against a dangerous team like Brighton that has a hot start. They did play well against Everton. And, man, like, to lose late again, 4:30 a.m. blues. It's every just kind of, we're singing the blues here at the American Red Devils, because seeing this movie before and the late winner from Brighton after we get the harshly disallowed VAR goal, that was on the menu. Just like when Welbeck hit the post at 1-0, us scoring the equalizer right after, that was on the menu. It's almost like we're living in a simulation. You could just bank on these things happening.
I think we've just seen enough of this football game before, right? How many hundreds of games have we seen of this side alone, beyond just knowing the tide of football? So I have to agree. I think the game was pretty even until the Bruno sub, and then I think United just like created nothing, and Brighton kept pushing and creating chances, and therefore won the game. But I would agree, you know, the Mount Bruno is not quite coming off. United still looks sloppy. That goal we gave up in the first half is really inexcusable. Like Casemiro and no man's land ball watching, and it's just, you have to do better. Dangerous Brighton side, right? Like, you know, no excuses. United's a much better team, much better squad, even with some of the injuries we have. But they came out fit and firing. They got, you know, their new young gun coach who you're going to be hearing all about. I can guarantee you that. You know, this funny haircut. He had the boys up and ready. They look very fit. And it was an open game, but I think United just shot themselves in the foot because I think we had the momentum in the second half, especially when Garnacho came on with Xerxes. There was some good combo, and then all of a sudden, like, I had no idea. Bruno's face said it all. He's like, what the hell is going on?
You put McTominay on for the best player in the Premier League.
McTominay's fine if you want to do that, but you want Bruno passing the ball to McTominay in the box, which we missed out on. And all of a sudden, we created nothing for the last, like I said, 15, 17 minutes. So I think that was the decider of the game. I think it was on a knife's edge, and that sub alone ended our chances.
Yeah, my only point related to the false nine is you need to be better than Brighton. We got to be better than this team, and you got to go to their house, and we got to put it on them. I remember days where Manchester United would go to places like this, and it'd be like, how do we not score in the first half? We absolutely dominated. Now we're like, hey, we dominated the first half. We created like one chance maybe. It's just we're not creating enough. We are more sound defensively, but the goals. There are no goals in this team until Xerxes comes on or Garnacho comes on. Højlund's injured. Like, we're behind the eight ball already. Ineos, get Ivan Toney in, please. Now, like, we do need to find goals in this team when we can play defensively sound. But I don't think the answer is don't play a striker and play an extra midfielder the entire season. We have to find some balance in this team. It is early. Brighton's off to a hot start.
It's early.
Excuse Factory is open. We're shipping these excuses all day, everybody. Game week 2. But, sir, before the Excuse Factory, we work it overtime. Let's get into a quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the America Devils, we are home of the Muppet Take. You got to support fan content. We are for fans, by fans. No big commercial sponsors here on the podcast, and the best way you can support us is check out our YouTube page, subscribe, like, do all those fun things. Help us get our channel off the ground. We just started it basically this year. Exciting times at ARD. Also, if you want to be a top Muppet, you want to go the extra mile, you want to help us out with the air conditioning in the pod bunker.
Muggy.
Join our Patreon page. Tons of benefits. We do an extra podcast every single month with a fan mailbag. It's a great community. Please check out our Patreon and sign up if you're on the fence. The Muppet Take needs your support. Also, check out our store. If Patreon's not your thing, we got our new hats in stock, our black trucker hat, gray trucker, shirts, scarves, hoodies, Viva Garnacho scarf. I swear he should have had this goal. He's going to be United's leading scorer. Get it while the scarves are still available, sir. Limited quantity. It's a limited drop here at ARD. Also, check out our website, AmericanDevils.com. Speaking of the Muppet Take, Alex is blogging. I'm blogging. Great content about the team you need, know, and love. And, sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews and 5-star reviews of the American Devils podcast wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. Helps us get found organically by other Muppets like yourself. And we're still giving away free merch. I just did a big shipment out. All you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Send a screenshot of the review to AmericanDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, package, ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Keep it coming. It's been making an impact. We're moving up the charts. United's not moving up the table quite yet. We're hammered back down, 8th place. But
better execution.
Keep the reviews coming. We appreciate it.
I need better execution, sir. Let's get into it. All right.
City just smoking.
Sir, don't look. Don't look. Don't look. It is Brighton versus Manchester United down at the South Coast, the Falmer Stadium. It was going to be rainy. Paulson at the wheel. He had a good game, in my opinion.
He did. He let it play. You got to let him play.
Let's get into 11. We had the Andre Onana, Dalot, Martinez, Magoo, Maz back line, unchanged completely. Mainu, Casemiro, Mount, Bruno, Diallo, Rashford. No changes from Fulham. I said there'd be no changes. I wanted changes. What do you think of this 11?
We both said it. We both called no changes. That is the manager's MO. I went into that pod thinking he would make changes, then I realized he always just sticks to the same 11 usually as a default. So he did. Took a risk. I don't think that risk paid off.
Yeah, look, let's get into it, sir. You want to break down that first half?
United, let's get into it, sir. Like you said, United come out pretty flat, as United are concerned. So pushing for that double 10. We did have a good chance in the 11th minute. Volley came in as a Dalot cross for Ahmad, but it's a hard chance, right? So it's a good one. But the ball's like ripping in, and he tries to hit on the volley, and it blasts over. But it was a chance.
Yeah, but like I would say, again, it was a feeling out match. Brighton's a good team. They're coming high. They're pressing us. We're pressing them. I thought it was sort of, we didn't create enough. United probably were the better side, but if you're the better side and we're not like stinging them, what's really the point there? And that's kind of my main criticism of the double 10.
100%. 100%. So 31st minute, disjointed chances, right? Like there wasn't a lot. 31, Ahmad's on the break, gets the pass wrong. United just looked like we were still finding our feet, didn't quite understand where the other player's going to go, and then we got bit in the 32nd minute. I did call this, or I knew the old Danny Welbeck, former player, was going to bite United, and he almost had 2 goals in this game. But in the 32nd minute, it's him.
João Pedro, Harry Maguire left it. This is Matoma, and Welbeck scores against the club with which he won the title more than a decade ago. And it's the 100th goal of his club career.
Of course.
Seen this movie before. Seen it before. Good old Danny Welbeck punishing Manchester United, as all ex-Manchester United players do. You called it on the last podcast, sir. Danny Welbeck gets us 1-0 Brighton.
And he shouldn't have. You know, the goal they should have gotten was the second half one where he hit the bar. But that's just bad defending. If you look at the box, Casemiro's ball watching, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like you talked about it with the opener, with that audio clip. It's like it's about execution. If United executed at a higher level in this game, we would have walked away with at least 3 points, at least 1 point, arguably 3 points. So that is just sloppy defending. You know, it's not good enough in any semblance.
Yeah, and 34th minute, Rashford scores, but is offside. Weird header off the goalie, then off his back foot into the net, and then he was just like off by a smidge. Not our day. Going into halftime. Look, really needed a halftime sub from the manager. He did surprise me where he pulled Mount for Xerxes, but it appears Mount's injured, so I didn't know if that was tactical or injury related. But regardless, we do get the Xerxes sub. How'd you feel about that?
I like the player. You know, he's got very good feet for a big man. I thought they linked up quite well. I know they had a couple chances, Brighton that is, but like United, the best 20, 30 minutes we saw this game was basically from halftime until Bruno came off, because we were creating stuff. We were getting over the top. Let's get into it.
Oh my God. Brighton come out swinging in the second half. Milner almost scores. This one, whisker wide, cleared off the line. Again, United coming out of half, not so great. 59th minute, Welbeck hits the bar. Brighton bringing the initiative. Again, they're up by a goal. They're coming at us. And against the counter, Ahmad with a brilliant goal. Shout out Ahmad here.
Mazraoui. Now a chance for positivity. Ahmad Diallo. Inside Hinshelwood. Deflected and in for Manchester United's equaliser. Several Brighton defenders left bamboozled on the floor.
And playing a really high line. And I've said that Man United have been reluctant actually to make runs in behind.
They've been playing the high line. We need to punish him. We called it out on the preview. We have to be punishing him for this high line. Ahmad does it all by himself. What a finish. What a run. What a player. What a youngster. Just ruthless. You just know he's going to score in that position. I mean, you just love to know that the wing at United is sorted with Ahmad out there.
And a great ball in from Mazraoui. It was right on the edge.
Yep.
He is very competent. He looks like a solid player. I hope he can stay fit. Ahmad with electric pace. Ahmad had a personal loss in the family. We send the condolences to him, but you could tell how much it means to him. He's a youngster. You call it out as the most improved player coming out this season. I hope so, because he's a good kid. He's hard worker, and he's just he's got it. He's got balance. He's got both footed, and we don't have enough wingers running at defenders, and whenever you get him in behind, he's doing that. So nice goal. And then United, we had a chance. We had our chances. We just didn't take them.
So 65th minute, sub Garnacho for Rashford. Garnacho comes on and bam, immediate impact. 72nd minute, Ahmad coming from the right wing, drifts inside, leaves space for Bruno to cut on the right, lays the ball into him, who passes into Garnacho, who scores. Xerxes slid into the net, and the ball hit him as he was going into the net. It's offside. Heartbreak for Manchester United. I didn't like the slide from Xerxes. I kind of felt like it was he kind of slid after the ball went through. The timing was a little awkward. I just didn't think he thought somebody was behind him. I know we could disagree there, but I just kind of felt like you don't see that often for that reason, where usually players aren't just sliding into the net.
He's getting up to the league. I think he's making the right type of move, which is you want to try and get there far post and at least do your best, but maybe anticipated a ball with less pace on it. The ball came in with a lot of heat and then ended up just getting past him, but I'm sure he feels bad. Like you said, Erik ten Hag was chewing him out. Those two were talking at the end of the game, but
Yeah, I felt like it was like a slide for slide's sake. He was going through the motions, but it was just kind of awkward. And, you can't really blame him, but it's just like at this point, this goal is so critical for this team. We need this goal. Garnacho needs it. Bruno needs the assist. The momentum in this game, VAR overturns it. And
a little crazy about that, right? How was that over? It had no impact on the play.
No, but he's in offside. Sir, as soon as the ball touches him in offside position,
it's like right over the line.
Yes, if we ran the rules, Manchester United would
give
win
us 3 goals to start the game.
Yeah, if we ran VAR, which we don't, Manchester United would win every game because we would be like, change the rules while we're watching the game. And that's why Muppets don't run VAR. Well, maybe they do. Okay,
not United Muppets.
And now we're getting to the crux of the biscuit here. The madness, moment of madness, 79th minute. You know what? It's 1-1. We got to win the game. Who are we bringing on?
I have no problem with the McSauce introduction. I have a problem with Bruno Fernandes, the best player on our team, and the creative maestro of this United side getting yoinked. And you could see it in his face. He couldn't believe it. He had disbelief. I couldn't believe it. No shame in bringing on McTominay. He can defend in the box, and also he's dangerous in their box. So I just don't understand our creative outlet getting taken off. That makes no sense to me.
Look, Bruno Fernandes didn't want to come off, right, at the end of the day. And so, to take Bruno, our best player, off when we arguably need a goal for Scott McTominay, I questioned it then, and we watched it, and it really didn't impact the game in a positive way. So it's a controversial sub. It's a controversial sub, and then you end up losing the game. I don't think that sub loses you the game, but that sub definitely doesn't win you the game.
No, your only chance of winning the game, not your only chance, but the most likely chance is to keep Bruno on. He's the player that is going to be getting players in behind. He's going to be creating chances over the top where we were the most dangerous, I would say. And at the end of the day, it's that didn't make any sense. Unless he was injured, and you could tell by his face that he's not injured. Never see this happening for United. They're at a point in the game where they need to create a chance. It's very on knife's edge, and all of a sudden, as soon as we gave up Bruno Fernandes, what creativity do you have? What ability do you have to create chances over the top? Where they did look vulnerable. You have to admit they looked very vulnerable over the top. So I was just shocked. Sir, what is the rationale behind that? But
no, and so we're getting. I think what we're getting at here, a little bit, is the momentum mind games with managers, where when you take Bruno off, that kind of encourages Brighton a little bit, and it did encourage Brighton, and it kind of, like I said, the attack was sort of silent from there, and we lost our momentum, and then you're almost playing into their hands when you're going to kind of take off your best player. You're making it easy on them defending, and then they kind of get into the attack, and they found their mojo. And then once that tide turns, and you're on an away ground, and it's wave after wave, and you got DeLitt out there who probably isn't fit. He's working his socks off, and it just kind of turns against you. And we all know what happened in the 95th minute.
We do, of course, 95th, sir. It's late. Late.
Big chance. Manchester United left on their knees. The seagulls soaring high.
It's fucking brutal. It's absolutely fucking brutal. I just, it's a play the circus music. It's just bum 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 bum. You lose it's just so predictable, and it's just hey, I'd be lying if I'm not blood red pissed. Blood red piss about seeing this go in the net. I'm sick of this shit. I need better execution, sir. Literally, this is the whole idea that you gotta bring it to Manchester United sometimes and say, hey, we wear this badge. We gotta put some respect on this team that we follow and love and support for all these years. And it's we gotta be expecting to win against Brighton, and we gotta take it to them. It's too much wet noodle mashed potato bullshit, especially at the end of the game, and you lose at the 95th. It's give me a break. How many late goals have we let in, costing us so many points? It's just rough, and it's I know it's early in the season, but after last year, man, it just stacks up, and it gets you. Sometimes this one, the VAR goal called back.
No, it's
this one,
cruel game,
salt
bro.
in the wound, dude. It's just brutal.
But it's preventable goals. They had some really dangerous chances, but the first goal we conceded was sloppy defending, and this goal is sloppy defending. There's nobody at the back post. Delo is completely out of position. It makes, he is playing out of position, but it's terrible defending. Just like the first goal, it's preventable, and it's unacceptable because there's no shame in walking away with a 1-1 draw. No shame.
No, not
but
at all.
You lose 95th minute. It's like, you're right. It's like last year.
Lose.
Last year, it's like just like the Fulham game we were at Old Trafford, like loses at the death at home. It's just like you can't be losing these games. You got to turn the losses into draws and the draws into wins, as many as you can. That's going to make the difference this year. And this reminds you of last year.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello?
Hello?
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Sir, you got to play to win. Play to win. This was like a play to not lose. Play to win, sir. Play to win. And we need more of that at Manchester United because, man, losing away at Brighton, brutal. Shots on goal, Brighton 4, Manchester United 5. Attempts 14 to Brighton, 11 to United. We had more of the ball. Brighton did more with it. That would be evident in the XG, 2.3 to 1.53 from United, sir. Just brutal. And
it was even. It was literally even until Bruno came off, and then we didn't create shit for the rest of the game. We'll look at that in a second. But it's baffling. I'd love to see what the manager says about that because I'd imagine you'd ask, be like, yo, why'd you take off El Magnifico? He was playing well. He's like, obviously he made some passes that he could have, maybe he didn't have to do right away where we had some good chances, but like he is the creative engine of this team.
So we called it out last time we played the 2-10s right on the pod. It creates this giant gap in the middle of the park that Brighton exploited. You look at their average positioning and the balance in their passing network,
Very nice.
And you look at what Manchester United lined up. And obviously against Fulham, it wasn't as pronounced, but because Fulham aren't as good as Brighton. And so I was worried about coming in with the same stale plan here. And you look at our average, you look what it did to us. It's like we're all grouped up on the left-hand side. We're disconnected from the right. There wasn't that flow in the game, and we got to sort this out. And I'm not saying there aren't injuries or issues why that we don't have that many options, especially up at number 9, like a Højlund who can come in and like change things. But it's just not a good look for Manchester United and something that we would expect this team to be able to like have the answer for. And like you said here, look at the cumulative XG. Manchester United only XG'd Brighton for about 20 minutes right at the start of the game, and they had our number the entire way. And when you look at the cumulative threat, they were getting in after United way more than we were against them. And Brighton is a team where they finished 11th in the league last year. Pretty much no one made like very cheap signings, good and cheap for the record, but they're coming out and playing really attractive football and outplaying Manchester United. But we are away and it is early. So you got to give a shout out to Excuse Factory.
It's always working. It's always on. It's like they're the hardest working people we got. It's the Excuse Factory elves.
I mean, you're like,
I am the king of the Excuse Factory. So,
like,
I can go all day, baby.
You're not the king. You're the foreman.
Yeah,
I
I own the factory. I'm the owner, operator, and chief Muppet.
All the elves in the Excuse Factory, they're like really concerned about how much more work they're going to have to do this year.
A lot of work. I'll tell you what. Last year they were working overtime. I gave up halfway season in terms of making excuses. It's early. The manager made a mistake. Let's be honest. I think the game was pretty even. The manager made a huge mistake taking up Bruno. We created nothing, and we also looked worse defensively, which was kind of.
But look at the chances created here. Look how much more balanced Brighton is.
You're not going to see Mount starting against Liverpool, regardless.
No,
of
he's injured. But look at you can look at the XG. You can look at who created more. You can look at the setup and shape of the team. Brighton's better. You can look at
their wide play.
Their final third. Entries and passes into the final third, and it's like more balanced. There's more diverse, and like that's why when we say like we're better, I'm like looking for I'm like kind of looking for signals. But there's no easy game in this league. I think that's kind of what it comes down to. You can't just show up against Brighton with the same 11 and think we're just going to be so good that we're going to beat them, because at the end of the day, it's like every game in this league is hard. I think that's the most incredible thing. And you started saying this a couple of years ago, there is no easy game in the EPL, and it is like a fact. It's getting harder every week.
Every year you see it, and it's just crazy because the level of competitiveness, the money that's in the league, how well you have to be run to even make it from the championship to the Premier League in the first place. Like that is not easy because the championship has gotten more intense. So you can't rest on your laurels. teams like Fulham will punish you. They could have. And teams like Brighton, like if we had played, they could have smoked us in this game if we didn't, like if we show up like last year. So there is something to be said because these teams are dangerous and these teams will fucking kick you while you're down, bro, in the rain. We call that too.
No, and that's a great point. And you have to kind of be critical of your own house a little bit and just be like, hey guys, we could do better. And I think most of the frustration is I think we have the players and we can play better.
We do.
I think that's the number one frustration from a Manchester United fan was like, we should have won that game 2-1. We shouldn't have conceded 1-1. At the very least, you draw
1-1. Which is fine.
At the very least, you draw.
Right.
But you probably should have been. We should have been the team at the end creating chances, going to win, and to be the team defending for your life away. That's not a good look. And so it's one of those back to the drawing board, on to Cincinnati, on to the Scouse Bastards. I know United are going to get up for that game. I think it's going to be a great game. That one is one that it's sort of up to the football and gods. You win or lose,
right.
You can't be upset. But a Brighton away, you played, you created some chances. It was there for the taking, and when you blow it, that's a tough pill to swallow on the second game of the season. There's no ifs, ands, or about it. But when tough moments come, it's what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I feel like this team, it's got to be resilient. And they got to band together, and we got to come up with some big wins because we have some big games coming down the line. And this Brighton one, I knew was going to be a tough one out of the gate.
It's how you respond. I mean, that's going to be the big thing. How do we respond next weekend at home against the Scousers? It's like, now Xerxes has enough time. Probably time to start him. Let's do Bruno 10. Keep it simple. Kobe, Casemiro. How do we respond? That is going to be very, very telling. And this team is going to take fucking knocks over the year. They're going to take punches. They're going to get knocked down. We're going to lose heartbreaking games. We're going to lose games where if we'd made different changes, we would have been the one ahead. And it's all about how you respond, bro. It's a long season. It's a long season.
Well, what do we know? Let's check in with the main man, the manager.
The worst possible way to lose a game in stoppage time like that?
Sure, very disappointing. Especially when you, over long parts in the game, you have control. And we are controlling the game in possession, and we are doing so well. And we got 2 unnecessary goals, very avoidable.
Did it feel like they were quite soft goals to concede? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, that is our feeling. And we can see 2 soft goals where we should act better as a team.
What should the players have done in those situations then? What were you looking for?
It's so many things in that moment, and we have to talk, and we have to be aligned in such moments what to do, and that everyone knows the job, and as a team, and we protect our goal.
You said you liked parts of the performance. What were they?
I think there was very good parts in the game. We had a lot of control in possession. We created good chances. We showed resilience. We came back, and then we scored a winning goal, although we thought it was the winning goal. And then it's so bad luck that the ball is on the line, just before the line. It's touched by Sekse, so that's a pity. You have to take this. So it's a disappointment.
Look, he calls it straight.
More straight than last year. A little.
Here we go. Yeah. It's like right into the.
I wish we had the wine.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah. Except it's coffee.
It's like right from the manager's comments.
We gotta go take care of the kids for 10 hours until they go to bed at 8 o'clock. That's the rain waiting for you. Is like the kids. The kids we get home for the rest of the day.
Look, I feel for the man. Like I feel for the manager, dude. It's like we got a good team. We got good players. It's just this like everybody. It's a ruthless game here. This is the Premier League has to be respected. It just has to be respected. And if it's stale, you got to change it before it gets too stale. And he's got to change it against Liverpool. And then you got to be thinking on to the next one. It's just such mind games. The best to ever do it. Sir, shout out. He's in the pod bunker. Sir Alex Ferguson, the best to ever do it. He'd be changing things. He knew what you needed away at the South Coast early in a season when it was rainy. He knew what players could go there and get a gritty win or get a gritty draw. And I just feel like that type of, knowledge of the game in England is just, is invaluable. And I feel like we're missing out. We're like dropping points because we don't have that knowledge.
Well, that's... he's the greatest of all time, arguably, so it's very difficult to compare yourself to like an all-time legend. But I would agree. You know, this squad, the coaching squad has to acclimate too. Like Ruud hasn't coached in the Premier League. Rene hasn't coached in the Premier League. They're all getting to know each other. So I think there's an element of like, there's the players jiving. There's the new guys coming up to speed. There's also like the coaching staff.
But the bad defending has been there forever. Before this manager.
I agree.
So,
like both of these goals were very preventable.
But before Ten Hag, like the bad defending, in my opinion, is not on Ten Hag.
It's been around for like 7-8 years.
Like exactly. So like the bad defending is cultural. It's
Jose.
You know, there's just certain players in this team and in this back line that just switch off on the back post. Look, every single one does it. Delo, Shaw, like, you know, Maz looks real sharp. I'll tell you, from a defending perspective, he's a breath of fresh air. He's putting in crazy challenges. Like, he's switched onto that danger, that urgency that you would expect to see everyone have at Manchester United. And sometimes we're going through the motions a little bit, and you can't go through the motions at all at United. And you have to also caveat that we have injuries and we're trying to land this plane as far as like Sancho's not in the team. He could have made a difference. Like, you could go to the bench. I'd rather have Sancho than Antony, but he's not in because we're trying to deal him. And so it's this awkward phase before the transfer window. So look, we got to lick our wounds. Liverpool, Scouse Bastards, big one. All I want to see is some like solid challenges and the players up for it.
Yeah, let's create some chances. Let's give them a game. Let's take it to their bald fraud, and let's get 3 points. You know, that turned the tide. First season under Ten Hag, third game of the year, big game. He was back against the wall. Not quite like that, but like winning against Liverpool gives you a nice big momentum boost into the fucking first international break. The transfer window will be wrapped up by then, and then the team can start like coalescing over September, because then we got Europa League. We got a lot of games. It's going to be very important this manager figures out to be flexible, because like you can't play the same team every 3 days given who we have in it. So big test ahead. Long season.
All right, 4:30 a.m. heartbreak. That's the tweet. We wake up at 4:30 a.m. It's usually a brutal game. Sir, get your wine.
A little early. Fan questions.
Let's get into them. Fan questions here. At Sabres Car Guy, we need a 9 to start. I love this press, but the lack of finishing is evident. Time to sell Rashford and let the kids run the wings. Garnacho is a game changer. Still confusion from the back line with so many moving pieces. Need to sort it out quick.
I like the press. I thought we saw some good. That was the best thing about having Mount on, but we looked scratchy. We looked scratchy on defense. I like some of the passing between the lines. I thought we looked pretty good there, especially in the second half. But I agree. It's like we ain't the finished article, bro. We got a lot of things to work on. This United side, a lot of things to work on.
Lots to work on. At Fairway Freddy, stubborn Eric Ten Hag forcing De Ligt into the team for no reason. Strange team in which forwards are judged on their closing down the opposition. Fans are seemingly okay with a piss-poor goal threat. Can Eric Ten Hag build attacking goal-scoring team? Not so far. Clock is ticking on him. Wow. Second game in. Fairway Freddy. Clock is ticking.
Shitfootball.com.
Look, I'm critical, but the criticality, just like the clinicality, the criticality should be productive, right? Like, hey, let's look in the mirror. Hey, let's fix this. Hey, we got to improve in these areas. And I really think playing no striker for a midfielder just for pressing is like, no one in the world does that for a reason. It's like, watch teams who are winning the Champions League. Watch teams who are winning the Premier League. Nobody's doing this. Like, nobody's like, hey, you know what? I don't want to score goals. I just want to press everybody. Like, it's like, I understand, but like, we got to start keeping it simple and start just like playing and trying to score goals. Because like Manchester United, if you don't score goals and you don't play attacking football at Manchester United, that's against the DNA of the club. And we got to sort this out. Number one issue is we don't have strikers, so we got to get strikers in.
I mean, the biggest thing is like we need a number 9 and we need a real left back, right? We need a devoted left back because one of the goals is like players playing out of position. They're finding their feet. We got new players. We got to let it settle. Let's let the dust settle a little bit. You know, everyone's fired up about this. Nobody's happy. Let's focus on the next game, bro.
No one would be. And here's the thing. What are you fired up about? You're not
fucking lost it at the end, bro.
You're not fired. No one would be fired up with a draw. No one would be fired up with a win.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're fired up because you blew the point in stoppage time.
That's point,
another bad defending shit away loss. Like, it's just tough. That's literally that's why people get fired up when you lose this way. And then shitfootball.com. Now there's an official shitfootball.com Twitter handle that somebody created for us says we're back, baby. So I'm going to say that shift football is not back. We're seeing better football from Manchester United this year.
We are.
We just haven't found the balance of defending and then adding the attacking element. It's more of we should be ahead of the curve from where we are. I think we should be doing better with the players we have. But, let's be fair here. I don't think we're watching shift football. It's completely different than last year.
Yeah, and we talked about this too, which is like this team is going to take a little bit of time to settle in. We talked about players come back from tournaments, new players, injuries, not necessarily having like a straightforward best 11. So it's like this is going to take a couple months to coalesce. So let's give it some time. Let's hope for the best. Let's not like lose the whole plot and just see how things develop. So one game at a time.
You hear that, Muppets?
Next.
You hear that, Muppets?
I'm trying to keep myself calm too.
I'm counting on you.
Keep us calm.
The Muppet Take needs you, and the Muppet Take needs you to support this team through thick and thin. No matter what, sir. We can't lose our minds. Second game of the season. That's it. That's the podcast. Ask not what you can do for the Muppet Take. Ask what the Muppet Take can do for you, sir. I think I got it.
Nailed it. Yeah, you could have done it better myself. What time is it?
Yeah, we've been up. I've been up since 4:30, so it's been a long one. Look. Thank you for everyone who listens and supports the podcast. Couldn't do it without you. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/AmericaDevils. AmericaDevils.store. Grab some great merch. The hats are sick. Shirts, everything. Everything you buy supports us, keeps us going. We do it for the love of the game, so we live and die by this team. And also, subscribe on our YouTube, comment, like our videos. It goes a long way because, we're just getting off the ground. And so if you just go over to YouTube, it's free. Subscribe, like, comment. Some cheeky banter. It helps us. So please check it out. Consider it. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Dublin, Ireland, New York, Los Angeles, California, Brooklyn, New York, Oslo, Norway, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, PA, Charlotte, North Carolina, and last but not least, San Francisco, California. Appreciate all the America Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Always darkest for the dawn. We got Scousers next weekend. We can't wait. And we'll have a preview coming out midweek. Appreciate the support. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you all next time.
On to Cincinnati.
Let's go.